With regard to the teleological argument for the existence of God. Now, this argument is sometimes referred to as the design because it is pegged on as theory that the order, harmony, beauty, and all purpose, fullness in our universe must have been designed by a superior, perfectly intelligent being. The word teleological is derived from a Greek word meaning goal, meaning end, meaning purpose. The universe, with all its harmony, must have been intended as the end result of the action of a supreme being. Although traces of the teleological argument can be found in Plato and St. Thomas, it was mainly developed by a German philosopher called Gottfried Leibniz, who lived between 1640 to 1716. Later, there is this British gentleman, William Parry, who lived between 1743 to 1802 AD, and who demonstrated the design using the example of a watch. William Parry marveled at the harmony of so many things working in a watch. A watch consists of a complex arrangement of wheel, cogs, axles, springs, and balances, all working accurately together to measure time. Parry notes that one cannot attribute the formation of such a complex machine to chance or to natural elements like wind or earthquake. It must be the result of a design by an intelligent person who manufactured the items, assembled them into a unit that functions with a specific purpose of measuring time. William Parry applied this analogy to the harmony in the universe, pointing out that the world is a complex mechanism that is as manifestly designed as a watch. If you look at the rotation of the planets in the solar system, the regular changes of seasons, the complex structure and harmony of the organs in any living organism, that is, the liver, the heart, the kidneys, the lungs, and so on and so forth, or even the wonder in the human brain with millions of cells all functioning together in a magnificently coordinated system. Look at the eye, which is a superb camera, viewing distance, focusing, selecting colors, reducing brightness, with its capacity to operate for long hours and many years. This most complex harmony of things cannot be there just by chance. There must be the design of a supremely intelligent being. So it is not just things happening. That is what William Parry, who really made a contribution to the teleological argument, seeing the watch moving 3. Of course, he was passing through the bush. Scientists are not necessarily, or intellectuals are not necessarily the armchair scholars, as one may think. People who just sit in the libraries and compiling what was already there, then go to the bush to look for new materials. They're collecting data out there. And as he was there, that's when he found a watch and found it was communicating a theological, philosophical message. And when he watches and sees it making the same noise, it makes, as you and I know, 33333, telling time, and it's not confusing anything. It is from there that the theory that we can understand that God exists without Holy Quran or the Bible or the Holy Bible. You can tell, or Bhagavad Gita of the Hindu people of India, the Hindu religion. So you can tell, you don't need scriptures to tell that there is God. You just require to look at the way the watch moves teleologically and 33333 to one's very clear goal. If the watch is made to look the way you see it, now think of it of something else, and you are going to discover that, as the Waswahili say, ukiona vyaelea ujue vimeundwa. So if you see something floating, a rock floating somewhere, or a boat floating in the ocean, there must be an engineer somewhere. And this engineer, according to this teleological proof of God, or teleological argument, the scholars would call it, or philosophers of religion would call it, it is that supreme deity or supreme God. Supreme deity or God is the one who must be the more supreme intelligent being. If we can be this intelligent, making these computers, making these WhatsApp groups, making these phones, that are also cameras, my dear. These are also tape recorders, my dear. Then there must be a greater tape recorder, and that greater than we can conceive must be God. So some of these are the argument that came up. Now, this argument was critiqued. It was critiqued by other people, and the teleological argument is notably the most popular among theistic arguments, or believers of God, believes in God arguments. You call them theistic arguments. However, some criticism has been leveled against it. David Hume is a major critic of this argument. He argues that one cannot compare the work of God to the workings of a human artifact. That is a watch, just a watch, a human artifact. How on earth can you reduce God to just a watchmaker? But I think such critique by another philosopher of religion and just a philosopher, David Hume, is also too harsh, because how can we know God until and unless you look at what is already made? Think of anthropomorphic argument against God, for God, like anthropomorphic ones, the use of anthropomorphism to understand God. That is use of human ones that are anthropocentric. Like God as a father, God as a mother, God as a brother, God as, the Almighty, the one who is strong, the strong one. These anthropomorphic arguments or use of anthropomorphic language to understand God makes us really understand God. Without it, we may not understand God fully. But with this anthropomorphic language, we understand more. Now, if we move beyond there and use the watch to understand God in the so-called teleological argument, looking at the way the watch moves teleologically, and then it revolves around. If we cannot use such an argument and say it's good, really, what else? So that is where I have a problem with the David Hume, who has a huge argument on dreams, religion and dreams, philosophy and dreams. But for this one, I think I do not agree with him that we need to trash the likes of William Parry and the teleological argument. Okay? Yeah. To say that God can only be understood in a very complex way. What about the planes moving in the air? What about other things that were superhuman, like rockets going to the moon? All those things. Okay, if there are no comments, a short break.